Sup nerds! So in today's video, we're going to be going over the Barbie movie. If you do enjoy, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and make sure to hit that notification bell. But, anyways, let's get straight into it. I don't even know how to start out this video, or even just make this video in general, because I thought the movie was great, but I see why this movie's so controversial, but not just because I understand why it's controversial, but because I kind of agree. And before everyone cries and gets pissed off, shut up for 2 seconds. I don't care what side you are, this movie's great, this movie's terrible. Doesn't matter. What matters is you gotta listen to each side and understand where they're both coming from. Let's shut up, listen for a few minutes, and let's go ahead and get into it. This movie gives a good message to everyone. It gives a message that there's a generational divide between the younger generation, Gen Z and millennials, and the older generations, Gen X and baby boomers. Not that we can't appreciate each other or converse with each other or love each other, it's that we just have to accept that each generation grew up differently. So therefore, these generations of people will have to accept and just deal with the uncomfortable moments and conversations that they have to have with each other, no matter how old you are. These moments will happen between children and their parents and grandchildren and their grandparents, and it just is a natural thing. And this movie, through the mom and the daughter in the real world, pushes the idea that these generations of people can converse and can love each other through the uncomfortable moments and through the uncomfortable conversations that they're going to have, because they just want different things and are going through different things at different points in time, and that's okay, and you just have to learn to accept that. And there should be empathy for everyone, because everyone's struggles matter. It doesn't, you don't weigh struggles. That's not what you do, because everyone's different. Everyone handles different struggles differently. Everyone's connections to everyone else and things in the world are different. So you don't know what that person's going through. You can understand, but you might not actually know how they are dealing with it. So you have to try and understand and do your best to help them. And then we have the message of women's beauty standards, which are insane. I don't really get it because I'm a dude, and I also don't really get it because I don't really care about my looks too much. I mean, a little bit, that's human, but I try not to care about what people think about me, but this isn't about me. This is about women. I probably shouldn't be talking about this because I don't understand, but the pressure that women have to have this exact image in other people's minds and their minds is insane. And it's just sad because it's nothing but human. This is natural. You can't blame them. It's not their fault. It also doesn't help that through life, just in general, doesn't matter what time of day it is, doesn't matter when it is, doesn't matter who you're hanging out with. Girls and guys are gonna fall and say, oh, you don't look like this. Oh, you don't have this. Oh, you don't have that. That is so insane that, you're trying to, push girls into this exact image. They have to have this, they have to have this. I could go into detail, but it doesn't really matter. And girls will go to extremes to get this hourglass figure or whatever they want to look at. They'll go to extremes. They'll eat a ton or they'll eat nothing, which is insane. That's so bad for you. That is not how you should eat. I'm not a diet expert, but that's just not how it works. And some of the most beautiful women on the planet still have this idea in their head that they're not good enough. They see one little pimple on their face, it just destroys their whole confidence. And I think the message comes down to this: you should want to be healthy, you should want to be fit, you should want to work out, but you shouldn't feel forced to at a direct moment in your life. You feel ready to work out or get healthy or whatever, that is your choice. You shouldn't do it just because someone calls you ugly or somebody calls you fat. You should do it for yourself. And I don't think you should be mad if someone suggests, oh, maybe you should work out, maybe you should try to eat like this. You can see their intent. You know what their intent is. If they're trying to be respectful and nice, try not to get mad at them. But I do understand your frustration, I get that. But when someone's trying to help you, be nice about it. If someone's trying to be a jerk, just ignore them. It doesn't matter. And here's the central problem, and this is why the movie has been used as a weapon from women and men, and it just has been sucky to see. I've been seeing on TikTok, just from people, and it just sucks. And the problem is the representation of men in this movie is just so unclear. Not even bad, just unclear. Do I think the main intent of this movie was to be rude and disrespectful and just show how men can be so awful? No, I don't think so. But do I blame people for seeing it like that? Not really. I feel like you should use your brain a little bit more and you'll get there. But I don't blame you for finding that point, because it's very confusing the way I had to work this out. Because don't think I wasn't stressing over this. If you want to go check out my TikToks on these Barbie movies, my brain just like died trying to figure out what the message was for men. Here we go.
This movie just gave me such a headache.
I feel like there was a direct message, but it just got messed up, and there's so much messy stuff in this movie. I'll get to that in a second. I think the first problem is Ken is just not, like, directly supposed to be likable or unlikable. There wasn't a clear message of, like, how you should feel about Ken, so it was just weird. I don't think Ryan Gosling was a great person cast for this role if you wanted to play him like a bad guy, because he is just always a likable character in every single one of his films. He's fallen great. But then he also used the patriarchy against the Barbies, but then your excuse is that he's a stupid doll and he went to the real world and doesn't really understand. He literally thought the world was run by horses at first, and he just wanted love from Barbie, and just all the feelings are just everywhere, and they just didn't do a great job because it's just very messy, and that's not a message you want in such a good film. Number two, if you want these people, these men that are like kind of terrible, but they're still like have some love in them, and you might be able to get them to watch this movie and just respect the women a little bit more, you don't want to lead with the tagline, "She's everything and he's just Ken." That's not what you want to do. I don't know if there was like a deeper like thing to that, but it just sounds so bad. Is it to say people downput men but they're enough? Like that's was the thing. I mean, I guess, I don't know. It's just that wasn't a good way to just lead this off. Understandable why people would get pissed about that. They try to use Ken as someone good and someone that should be redeemed and loved at the end, but then why would they have made him such a bad guy? These men that the movie wants Ken to represent as a bad guy shouldn't be redeemed, because even after Barbie rejected Ken, Ken still loved Barbie. These men would not. They resent women that reject them because they think that women are below them. So then making Ken likable would therefore say, oh yeah, it's okay that they did this, like it's just a silly mistake. Oh, I can fix them. No, you fucking can't. Shut up. Alan is just not it. Not that I don't think he's a good character, but no one likes Alan in Barbie Land. Tell me one character that liked Alan, that was actually friends with Alan before Barbie Land went to trash. No one, but the one person that is on your side is Alan. And no one respected him before that. How terrible is that? And how great of a person is Alan for doing that? But the problem with Alan is that he never wants to hang out with any of the Kens. He always hangs out with the Barbies, even though they don't even like him. Tell me one Barbie that's like friends with Alan, not just like, oh yeah, that's Alan. Oh, that's who he is. Oh, that's it. Like, that's awful. So when you make a character that's always hanging out with the Barbies, as a man, you don't want to be that character, because all Alan gets is disrespect until he steps up when things go bad. That is terrible. He gets disrespected and nobody truly likes him until, oh, he helps me out. Oh, that's so nice of him. Realizing after that he's such a great guy. A lot of guys just have an all-male friend group. There's like maybe a few women in there, but it's mostly all guys. So does that, and I sure do, I have a few female friends, but it's mostly guys. Does that automatically make me a Ken? Does that make me that bad guy that you want Ken to represent? Really? Because again, what are these characters representing? Ken is the bad, and Alan is the good. So if I feel more connected to Ken than Alan, does that make me a bad guy? Does that mean I connected to Ken and I think he's a better character and more like developed and respected? Then why would I want to be good, right? I feel like that's what the movie's saying, and that's where the confusion and the connection of, oh, well, if women think we're Kens, all the men are just Kens, and there's just a few Allens out there, why am I gonna want to be an Alan that gets disrespected and nobody really likes him? So from the perspective of this movie, I am either a terrible guy that disrespects women, or I'm a guy that constantly hangs out with women that gets disrespected. And that's not what I want for the world, and I don't want men to think that they can only either disrespect women or be disrespected, because that's not the rabbit hole that you want to go down. And that's kind of where you lost me, and my brain just like kind of been like, okay, I understand the guy's points of being mad and upset about this movie, because it is a little bit confusing. If they wanted this movie to do so well for women and also men, they should have worked on Ken or Alan or both of them a little bit more. But here's my rebuttal. Here is where I tell you the 2 ways you can fix this movie, and we're kind of more stuck with the second one because you can't really do the first one. The first one is you change the men characters in this movie. You switch them, you give them a different character arc and development and whatever, because it's a movie and you can do that. And 2, you kind of just give the movie the benefit of the doubt, because that's kind of what we're stuck with. And if you want to respect this movie and you want to push forward the good messages it has for all people and women and their beauty standards and how ridiculous they are, and you want to do all that, you gotta kind of just give the movie the benefit of the doubt, which is kind of what I'm doing. To change the whole kind of movie, I mean, you can leave most of it, but you gotta change a couple things. First, you make Alan more of Barbie's best friend so that he feels like respected and like not just like a piece of trash. Like, oh, it's Alan. Oh, he was like, we got rid of him a long time ago. Like, we don't listen to Alan. Like, that's awful if that's the character you want men to be. So after Barbie breaks Ken's heart, she goes with Alan and herself to the real world and realizes how terrible men can be and how she should appreciate Ken more and just like how much he really cares about her. And that doesn't mean she has to end up with him, date him, whatever. It's just respect him. Alan should be with Barbie the entire movie, showing that how much he cares and how much of a good person that Alan can be. He can be loving and caring and respectful to the Barbies and the Kens. And I know men should just do this naturally, but there's just been so much crap and just trash in this world recently, and just terrible things and influences. This movie should have had Alan as that main guy and not just, oh, saves the day at the end. No, like, actually is respected and then goes to save the day because he feels loved. That is the character that men should be looking up to, or what Ken should have been in the first place. Alan should have been the hero of this movie and respected all throughout. And I think if he was, then the men in this audience, a lot more of them at least, would understand what this movie is trying to say, and there would be a more clear message of this is how men should be, and because of how they should be, they will be respected and understanding and will actually have a say in just things in life, and in return they give their empathy and care towards the struggles of women. I don't think that's too much of a thing to ask for. You give empathy and respect to somebody because they respect you. I think that should be an idea caused and put out there for everyone. Doesn't matter who you are, what you are, it just should be a thing. And number 2, just giving the movie the benefit of the doubt. First, we just kind of gotta realize that they're dolls and they're stupid and they don't really understand much. You gotta put that out there. They don't understand life or empathy or respect or anything because they've been living in this fantasy land and not the real world. When Ken, a simple-minded being, whatever's given to him at that point, that's what he takes as reality. He's reacting as a simple-minded, stupid person would react. So after he's this terrible person, he throws that away, that fake version of himself, that he's not really this terrible guy. He throws that away so that he can respect Barbie and give her empathy and just appreciate her again and just be okay that she isn't going to date him. He's got to realize that there's more to life than just Barbie. He has to be himself. He has to be Ken. And all of that together means that he just has to be enough for himself, for everybody. He's got to appreciate life and who he is as a person, not just who he is to Barbie. But let's go on to the funny stuff, because this movie was good, so let's appreciate the good and funny stuff in the movie. Ken, obviously, as a character, is hilarious. Just him singing and just his, idiotic and goofy, tendencies are hilarious. Ryan Gosling's amazing in, almost every character he plays. He's great. The casting of Margot Robbie, trying to make the point that, I can be all pretty, but then I'm like all upset that like, oh, I'm not pretty enough. And then them stopping the movie, it's like, just letting you know, Margot Robbie was not the person to cast to make this point, because it's just not gonna work. And that was hilarious. From going from this like sad, like dreadful, like feeling like of pressure of life with the Billie Eilish theme, or the song is just like, it was so sad. And then it ends with Barbie going to the gynecologist. And then you have the rap song with Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj. And yeah, that was just awesome and hilarious, and it was great. Also, Fire Song. The music in this movie was amazing. That's a whole story for another day. But to end it here, overall, this movie was great and amazing and did a lot of stuff for women, and that was awesome. But the fact that this movie was very unclear on how men should be and how women view men and just everything is just very upsetting, because now men are using the movie as a weapon against women, and women are using it as a weapon against men. It's just sad that that's what it's come to. And it just grows a further divide between men and women. It just sucks. That's not how it should be. This movie should bring us closer together. I don't know if they truly realized how big this movie was going to be. I feel like they thought it was going to be big, but like, I don't know. I just feel like there's certain details I feel like they could have gotten better, but it's a movie. And we gotta separate the movie from real life and realize that, like, we gotta use our brains. Don't be simple-minded like Ken. Just be you, be yourself, be respectful, and just shut up. Okay, thank you for listening to me. Have a fantastic day. And if you cannot have a fantastic day today, have a fantastic day or tomorrow. I say that because we all go through stuff. We all deal with stuff. I have empathy for you. I hope you have empathy for me. I respect you. And thank you all for respecting me and listening to me, because I like talking about movies. And I hope you guys enjoy listening to me rant about movies. And yeah, that's about it. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you find out what else I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about FNAF. I'm going to be talking about all sorts of stuff. So, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. And see